Good afternoon. Welcome into Sports Talk at the stadium from Bobby Dodd Stadium, Grant Field in downtown Atlanta, where Georgia Tech does it again to Clemson on this cold Saturday afternoon, 28-6, the final score. That's 5 straight wins for the Yellow Jackets over the Tigers here in Atlanta. Clemson came in with a lot of hopes. They had Deshaun Watson back at quarterback. They were thinking about running the table here to end the season and maybe going back to the Orange Bowl. All of that was lost here in Atlanta. Watson had the Tigers off to a 3-0 start, and he had them on the move looking at a 10-0 lead. Then after a carry, he goes down. His knee is injured. He leaves the game. He doesn't return. There was a report that he has a torn ACL. That was not confirmed by Dabo Swinney. Watson is to have an MRI as they look closer into that injury. Meantime, when he leaves, the offense goes with him. The Tigers could do nothing offensively after he left. Cole Stout came in. You know, Cole has done some good things for the Tigers this year in relief of Watson. Today was not one of those good days. On the series that he replaced Watson, the Tigers are inside the 10-yard line. Looks like they're going to go up 10-0. He throws a pick six. It goes back 85 yards, turns the whole game around. Later in the game, he throws another pick six. He also throws an interception that leads to a field goal. So 17 points off of 3 picks by Cole Stout, who had a passer rating in the game of -12. That's almost impossible to do, but he did it. He only completed 3 passes to his guys. So it was that kind of day for Cole Stout. It got so bad in the second half that Dabo Swinney and Chad Morris put Nick Schuessler in the game to finish up. He did go 4 for 4 passing, and with Watson now out, most likely for the rest of the season, in practice this week, getting ready for Georgia State, Stout and Schuessler will compete for the starting job. So with the offense staggering, the Clemson defense did the best it could, but its back was against the wall. And Georgia Tech's offense just chips away, chips away, chips away. They hit you with a big play here, hit you with a big play there. And they scored a touchdown early in the second half to really put the game away. That was the one drive where the Clemson defense sort of succumbed to things. Outside of that, they held Georgia Tech to field goals. Quick scoring recap. Ammon Lakip, a 27-yard field goal, put Clemson up 3-0. And then Jamal Golden had the first pick six, 85-yard return to make it a 6-3 Tech lead after the extra point was missed because the hold was messed up. Then a 25-yard field goal by Harrison Butker after an interception made it 9-3 Tech at halftime. And then first possession of the second half, Tech goes down the field. The quarterback, Justin Thomas, broke off a 65-yard run to set up the score, which was a pass by Thomas of 5 yards to DeAndre Smelter. That made it a 16-3 game, and for all practical purposes, it was over at that point. Butker later kicked a 32-yard field goal to make it a 19-3 game. That was the one that actually came after the pick, not the first field goal. That field goal came after an interception. Lakip, later in the third quarter, a 32-yard field goal for the Tigers to make it 19-6. And then the second pick six, this one by Chris Milton, 62 yards. That makes it 25-6. And then Butker closes out the scoring for Tech with a 41-yard field goal to make it 28-6. So their defense, they allowed the one touchdown drive. Outside of that, they only gave up field goals, but they had no help from the offense. It was a brutally physical game. Watson goes down with the injury. David Beasley suffers a knee injury for Clemson. Broderick Snoddy, the outstanding running back for Tech, suffered a gruesome leg injury, a broken leg. He's going to have surgery on that. Of course, he's out for the season. Georgia Tech's defense, as I mentioned, especially with Watson out, very tough on Clemson. The takeaways by Georgia Tech, 14 takeaways now in their last 4 games by the Georgia Tech defense. And Georgia Tech rushed for 251 yards, had 353 total yards. Clemson only 190 yards on the day, by far the Tigers' poorest performance of the season. They were only 3 of 13 on third down, and you knew that you had to keep the ball away from Georgia Tech. You couldn't let Georgia Tech be the ball hog. Georgia Tech kept the football for 35 minutes on the afternoon. One bright spot offensively for Clemson was Wayne Gallman. He rushed for 82 yards, and he also caught 4 passes for 14 yards. But outside of that, after Watson went out, the Tigers had little offensive production. I mean, Watson rushed for 40 yards, and he was 5 of 7 for 27 yards passing before the injury. And when he went down, of course, that changed everything in this ball game. And it really changes the Tigers' season the rest of the way now. What looked like a potential promising finish and strong possibility of 10 wins now looks like a situation where, well, they get Georgia State next week, so they should take care of business there. That would be 8 wins. But then a South Carolina team, which got a huge win today at Florida, should beat South Alabama next week, and they'll be coming in with a lot of confidence, looking to go 6 in a row over the Tigers. So everything has changed now at Clemson because of the injury to Deshaun Watson, and that coveted Orange Bowl bid obviously is out the window as well. So it was just a bad day all the way around for Clemson here in Atlanta, one that they would like to forget, but they won't soon forget because of the long-lasting ramifications of what happened here today at Grant Field. Again, that final score, Georgia Tech beats Clemson in Atlanta 28-6. We've got more coverage from the game here on sportstalksc.com. And, of course, on Sunday, we'll have Dabo Swinney's conference call for you here on the website. And on Monday night, we'll hear from you and get your take on what's up next for the Tigers as far as trying to bounce back from this and put a positive ending to this season. Thanks for joining us here. Sports Talk at the Stadium from Bobby Dodd Stadium in Atlanta.